Hey everybody, this is Terry Jeanette with the Tapping Flamingo, and today's video is going to be how much it costs to make and list on Etsy, from design to post office. And the reason I'm doing this video is because as of late, I have had several people ask me, how do you come up with the prices you do? Why can't you give me a discount? If I buy more than one, can I get a discount? Well, usually if you're buying more than one of my pieces, I already have them discounted. Anyway, I kind of wanted to explain to you how one does come up with pricing, particularly on Etsy. To be honest with you, before I started my Etsy shop, I was clueless. I didn't realize that it cost money to use Etsy. But you know what? It only makes sense. They've got to make money too. So let me get to the point of how I price my items and why I come up with the prices I do. For easy math, I am using this particular item. I have it listed on my Tapping Flamingo Bling Etsy shop for $10. And so I'm going to tell you how I came up with this price. First thing you need are your supplies. So yarn is involved in this. So I had to go to the store and buy the yarn. This particular skein of yarn with the tax costs $4.50. I'm not including the time it takes me to go to the store or the gas or anything like that. And the reason being is because I actually, to be honest with you, got this skein of yarn at Walmart and I picked it up when I was there for something else. So to be fair to you, I didn't charge extra for gas and my time because it took me 2 seconds to drive down the aisle with my buggy, pick it up and throw it in my cart. So $4.50. Out of that skein of yarn, I can get about 8 of these necklaces. So we're looking at 60 cents in yarn for this particular necklace. This anchor, I was able to get for $1. Now, my supplier is no longer, and so this literally is going to be one of a kind, and I have no idea if I can even find these, if I could get them for $1. And then I had to come up with a big jump ring. So the cost to make it, we're looking at $1.60. This is not my time, this is just the materials. Really wasn't that much. So I pay myself usually about $10 an hour. That is currently. If minimum wage goes up, so will my prices because I feel that I deserve to be paid more than minimum wage. Right now in the state of Louisiana, minimum wage, I don't know the exact amount, but it's between $7 and $8. So if it goes up, I'll probably be paying myself more like $15 an hour. But right now, for the easy math and everything, we'll take it for 10. It takes me about 30 minutes to whip one of these necklaces out. That is gathering my stuff, sitting down, making 5 strands of these, knotting them together, putting the charm on. Takes about 30 minutes. So that's $5 I'm being paid. So we're looking at $6.60 that it cost me to make this piece. All right, so now I have to list it onto my Etsy shop. I have to take pictures. I need to make sure that all the pictures are clear, that you understand exactly what you're getting. A lot of times, and I can't remember if I did it with this, but I'll put a ruler in there so you can see the measurements. In addition, in the description, I will put the measurements. I have to describe exactly what materials I used, how I did it, and all the details. And then I have to tag. Now, a lot of you probably are not familiar with SEO. That is tagging your items on Etsy or any other website so that when you as the customer goes in and searches for anchor necklace, this will pop up. And I still am learning SEO. For some reason on Etsy, I am having a hard time getting seen. A lot of it has to do with people purchasing and favoriting your items. If they are favorited and purchased, then you will show up in the feeds more often. But for some reason, I'm invisible. But you know, that's the story of my life. I have always been invisible, but that's a whole nother video. So anyway, back to my listing here. So I have not really taken into consideration the time it takes me to actually go through the process of listing it on Etsy. And in addition to that, I have a Tapping Flamingo Bling Instagram that I post a lot of my pictures onto, and also a Tapping Flamingo Bling Facebook page. And those take time to put my items on. This is all, I guess you could call it a commercial. I don't really like to refer it to as that. But you know, you do have to advertise somehow, because if you don't put yourself out there, how's anybody going to know that you even exist? Even if you are invisible. Anyway, so I am on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Hopefully I'll be able to get this video up on YouTube eventually. And other things that I have to take into consideration is my internet, my computer. I just bought a new computer, and believe me, if you have a business, you have to have a computer, you have to have some type of a smartphone. You're not going to be able to do business without one. And having an iPad or some type of a tablet like that is also a pretty much a must, unfortunately. All right, so we're going to move on to shipping. I have my items at $3.50 for shipping. If you buy an additional item, it is an additional $1. Now, depending on what that is, sometimes I'll try to refund that. I have a hard time figuring that out on my phone, but now that I do have a computer, I think I can do it on that now. But, you know, you may say, well, $3.50, that's a lot. It only costs $2.67 for you to send those earrings or keychain to me. Well, that's true. That's just the postage, though. You have to take into consideration, you have to have a mailer. I need to wrap these things up so they do not get damaged or smashed. And so I have packaging material. Normally what I do is I will put an item into a Ziploc baggie like this, and I will staple a pretty thing like this on it, and then I will, with matching paper, this doesn't match, I'll write a little note in here explaining something. Sometimes I may have to explain how something works. Like I do have necklaces that are adjustable. I may write a little note in there how that works. Of course, I have my business card in there. Then I like to wrap it up in tissue paper. Sometimes I use a bubbler. I always use a bubbler mailer. And, you know, not only do I have the supplies, but I have the time I'm invested in wrapping all this stuff up. Now, you may ask, how come you don't use a printed, you don't print off your mailing labels? Well, at this point, up until I get, you know, hundreds of orders a day, I like to be more personal with things. I like to handwrite my things. And yes, it saves a little bit of money, but more so, I want it to be more personal. Write out by hand a little note and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I am not using a printer. But when the day comes that I will be getting tons of orders in, and I know that day will come, I will have to use a printer. So then we're looking at an additional cost. Now, at this point, that $3.50 does not include insurance, and I probably need to start putting insurance on these things in case they do get lost in the mail or damaged. And then, of course, we have the time and the gas to get to the post office. So that's pretty much how I go about pricing my items and my shipping. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that homemade is not as good as store-bought. Well, first off, I don't consider homemade as junk. Homemade is more like handcrafted. I consider myself an artisan. Just as a painter or a musician, somebody that writes music, or a dancer, I create beautiful pieces for you to wear. And it is a work of art, like this piece I have on. I did not hand make or carve this, but somebody did. That is a piece of art. This that I put together, I assembled, is a piece of art. These earrings that are made out of alligator gar scales and glass pearls, and I have actually taken wire and wired them together. To me, this is a piece of art. And so I consider myself an artisan. And I take my time to put together the best quality of a piece for the person who will be purchasing it. A lot of people say, oh, well, if you're homemade, you don't have any overhead. Well, as I have explained, I'm not going to go back into detail again because I've already explained it. We do have overhead. We have quite a bit of overhead. And this is why our pieces are not less than what you would see in a brick and mortar store. Now, store-bought. Sadly, a lot of these pieces that are store-bought are made by young children who are earning pennies a day to make these things. And it's very sad. And still, when you go to these stores to purchase, your jewelry or whatever, it's not that good a quality. And these children that are making them, they're young, and they are trying to whip them out as fast as they can get them whipped out. Because the more they make, the more money they're going to be able to make. I take my time, and I make sure that when I'm finished, a quality piece is ready to be sold to you. I would show you some of my store-bought jewelry, but I really don't have any. And that is because they have tarnished or broken. I can't tell you how many times I've had my friends come to me with a piece that they bought at the store, broken. Can you fix this? And sometimes I can, but a lot of times they're so deteriorated with the materials that they used are not quality that they're not fixable. And sometimes I can fix them, but I have to bring in my own materials to fix them. Anyway, that's just kind of some ideas about how I go about making my items. And, this may bring a lot of questions. They're like, your question may be, well, Terry, why is it you don't charge more? Well, at this point, the reason is because I enjoy making these things. It started out where I was just making them for friends and myself, but then I wanted to make more and more. So I decided to open up an Etsy shop. I do sell off of Instagram and Facebook, so if you contact me through those two venues, I can also sell stuff through there. But, I want to continue to make these things. I love to create art. And so therefore, I need a way that I can pass them on to somebody else. I do have situations where I do donate some of my stuff. I have donated jewelry to women's shelters. I have donated earrings to cancer centers. In fact, I'm getting ready to go check that out here in a couple of weeks again to donate some more. And I have also just randomly handed out earrings. I call them random acts of earrings to people just that I come in contact with at the store or when I've been on vacations and stuff. So I do that too, and I enjoy it. But I do need to earn some more money so I can put it back into my business so I can create more things. Anyway, I hope this kind of gives you an idea of where I'm coming from, where not just me, but other artisans, other jewelry makers, people who paint or draw or make soap or crochet or whatever their art is. I hope you understand why we charge what we charge, and that more times than not, we probably should be charging more. Anyway, hope you go check out my Tapping Flamingo Bling Instagram, Etsy shop, Facebook page, and most of all, hope you have a wonderful day. This is the Tapping Flamingo signing out for now. Bye-bye.